तो गाइस बेंक्विल मैरिग्नी जिन्होंने रिसेंटली भारत प्रो शो को जीता था, शो के 2 दिन बाद 21 नवंबर को वापस यूएस जाते समय वो लाइव आए थे, जहां पर उन्होंने इंडियन एथलीट्स के ऊपर उनका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दिया जिन्होंने उनके साथ कम्पीट किया था भारत प्रो शो में। खासकर वरदान मल्होत्रा एंड अनिक घोष को प्रेज करते हुए उन्होंने काफी कुछ बोला जिनका फिजिक उनको सबसे इंप्रेसिव लगा पूरे लाइनअप में से।
That kid Vardhan that just won his pro card, he is the real deal. That dude is the truth. He will be the next men's physique Olympian from India, without a doubt. He is the real deal. He won his pro debut, he won his pro card, and then he beat every Indian in the field in his pro debut on the same day. That kid is the real deal. He doesn't have to go and talk shit or do any of that stuff. He don't have to. He's the real deal. And right now, he's the best men's physique pro in India. And there's no debating that. He'll be the next one to become an Olympian. He's got a small waist. He's got wide clavicles, wide shoulders, full through the chest and the delts. He needs to bring up his back more. He could add more thickness through the middle of the back, and he needs to add more lower lats. But he is the real deal. He's got a really clean look. He's got a really nice midsection. Once he adds a little bit more thickness through the lower lats, add more thickness through the middle of the back, Vardhan will quickly rise up. And yeah, he's the truth.
राहुल फिटनेस जो इस बार 9th आए थे, उन्होंने उनके ऊपर भी कुछ बातें कही जिस पर वो इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं बेटर प्लेसिंग लाने के लिए।
Rahul needs to take some time and actually invest into working on his posing, his presentation, and then fine tuning and making a few tweaks to his physique. He's got a lot of muscle, but you know, some areas are a little bit overbearing, overpowering versus others. He needs to slow down on the arms. It's like, yo, you could put muscle on, you can grow, but you need to make sure you're doing it in the right way. There's no sense in just growing and getting big, but then you have body parts that are overpowering the others. You want to have balance, you want to have symmetry, and you want everything to flow well whenever you're posing. So the arms are a bit overpowering, they're big, the chest needs to come up a bit, the back looks good, he could pose it better. The front, he never hits a front pose and just holds it. He looks uncomfortable when he's trying to pose. And so it's like you could work out all you want to, you could diet all you want to, but you got to take the time to invest in posing, presentation. If you got the physique but you can't show it, then, you know, what do you expect the judges to do?
बाकी उन्होंने लवप्रीत सिंह, मनोज पाटिल और अफरोज खान के फिजिक और परफॉर्मेंस को लेकर भी बातें किया जिस पर उनको काम करना चाहिए बेटर प्लेस करने के लिए।
Lovepreet's another guy, you know, good physique. He has to work on his presentation. He doesn't pose well, and he also needs to bring up the chest a little bit. But he looks really good. He brought really good conditioning. He doesn't lack confidence at all, and he's got a good future ahead of him. I'm curious to see the adjustments that he makes as he goes to do the Taiwan show in 2 weeks. Manoj is a rock star. I've never heard people go so crazy for one person before. As far as you know, what Manoj brought to the stage, some of these guys, they overpose, they do too much, and when you do too much, you overpose, you start to expose flaws and weaknesses that you don't actually have to show. Manoj is one of these guys. He's up there and he's putting on a show, he's performing, but he's overposing, and he's showing off things that are weaknesses, and he's giving the judges time to pick him apart. He's got to go up there and hit his poses, his money shots, and get off the stage. Manoj has to fine-tune the look a bit. He needs to tweak his posing some. He needs to adjust the front pose. He's got a lot of muscle. The waist is a little bit thicker. He needs to work on bringing that waistline down. And then, like I said, just fine-tune the look and, you know, get the posing the way it's supposed to be. Afroz Khan is absolutely peeled. He probably had the best conditioning on he probably had some of the best conditioning on the stage. The dude was peeled. Afroz is very narrow though. He has to get wider. He needs to bring his back up. He's improve his width. Brings really good conditioning. He's a really nice guy too. I like him. But he's got to get wider. You know, when he turns around to the back, you know, he's giving up a lot of width and size to the other guys.
लास्ट में उन्होंने वर्धन और अनिक घोष को भुवन चौहान के साथ टॉप 3 इंडियन मेंस फिजिकल लिस्ट में शामिल किया और कहा कि इन दोनों को हम काफी जल्दी ओलंपिया के स्टेज में देख सकते हैं इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट करते हुए।
Well, you know who it is. It's Bhuwan, it's Vardhan, and it's Anik. That's your top 3 right there. You just had every Indian men's physique at this show. Who was the top 2 places at this show for Indians? The only 2 that was in the first call out. There was Vardhan, and it was Anik. Those two stood out. They stood out to the judges. That's why they were in the first call out. The people in the first call out are the ones that the judges are looking at for, hey, these are the ones that we think has a chance to win. You don't think anybody else has a chance to win or is comparable, you don't bring them in the first call out. So that's why it was only a 4-man call out. Don and Anik, they're very, very similar in a way. Anik is a little bit more developed right now through the back. He just needs to fine tune it with the conditioning. But he's got a hell of a look too, man. Vardhan in 1 year will be an Olympian. I'll tell you that right now. Anik is not a dark horse. He's not a dark horse. Y'all know who he is. He won his overall at Amateur Olympia and then placed fourth in his pro debut. Second pro show here, he's fourth place. He's not a dark horse. He just doesn't do a lot of talking and a lot of that social media stuff like these other pros out there in India. That kid shows up to work, and then what's he do? He goes on stage and he busts ass out there. Just y'all not talking about him. Y'all talking about all these other Indian pros instead of talking about the ones that's really out here working, and instead of talking about the ones that's really good. You know, that kid Anik, that kid Vardhan, man, they not all over social media yapping and talking. Man, them boys showed up to that show with heat. They are good. Like I said, they were the only two Indian pros in the first call out, meaning they was the only two that the judges thought had a chance. The physique that impressed me was Vardhan and Anik. That's who impressed me. I was impressed by those two. And those two have the most potential. Those are the best two pros in India. And they got it. They got what it takes.
तो आज के लिए इतना ही और मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में रिसेंट बॉडी बिल्डिंग अपडेट्स के साथ। थैंक यू।